Today, this young woman had an internship interview at one of the largest hotels in South Korea. At such a crucial moment, the heel of her shoe broke. Talk about bad luck. But it didn't matter, it didn't faze her. Sa Rang confidently walked on, one shoe on, one shoe off. People underestimated her qualifications because she only had an associate's degree. On her resume, Sa Rang listed playing the piano as a hobby. The director asked her to demonstrate, despite the absence of a piano. Just like that, Sa Rang began making sounds like piano keys, a timeless Vina House track popular with today's youth. Everyone couldn't help but laugh at her naivete. Next, the director asked her to smile. Sa Rang gave a friendly smile, because that's what employees there should have. Returning home, Sa Rang recounted the interview to her friend. Her friend teased her about the piano playing. "You should have at least played Beethoven's House." Sa Rang said that in that situation, she had no other choice. Besides, they were recruiting for a 1-month internship and demanding a 4-year university degree. The two friends tried to persuade Sa Rang to work where they did, but she only wanted to work at the hotel because it had been her childhood dream. Immediately afterward, the three friends went to a nightclub to relieve stress. They transformed into true party animals. The next morning, while still groggy from the night before, Sa Rang unexpectedly received a call from King Hotel. They informed her that she had been accepted for the internship. This made Sa Rang overjoyed. She immediately called her two friends to share the good news. Elsewhere, Gu Won, the son of the King Group Conglomerate, was preparing for a parachute jump. This was his usual elegant pastime. Gu Won landed in the helicopter pad of his family's company. Today, he came here as an intern for the company. The manager was instructing the interns on their duties. He was still unaware of Gu Won's true identity. Gu Won felt annoyed listening to these pointless things. The manager questioned Gu Won about his luxurious attire. "Where did you buy this? And this watch too. Is it real or fake?" Gu Won said that it was just a fake from the flea market. During working hours, his demeanor was no different from that of a CEO. Fellow intern Sang Sik corrected Gu Won's attitude. "We are new employees, and dressing more expensively than the boss at the workplace makes you a target. You look like a paratrooper." Gu Won replied, "That's right. I just rushed here from Jeju Island." Sang Sik listened without understanding what was going on. Shortly after, the manager called the two of them to photocopy some documents for him. Gu Won's demeanor was like that of a chairman, with both hands in his pockets. Because he didn't know how to use the photocopier, he had to look it up. Gu Won fumbled around but couldn't get it to work. Sang Sik stepped forward and enthusiastically helped Gu Won check the machine. Because the ink cartridge was old, the manager told Sang Sik to shake it vigorously. Unfortunately, the ink cartridge sprayed ink everywhere. The department head came over and asked, "Who broke the photocopier?" The manager didn't hesitate to point directly at Sang Sik, despite Sang Sik's repeated explanations that someone had told him to do it. Meanwhile, the manager shirked all responsibility and even told Sang Sik, "You caused the trouble and now you're talking back." Sang Sik profusely apologized to the department head, but Gu Won objected. "Why are you apologizing when you didn't do anything wrong? He just followed orders because someone told him to." Gu Won didn't hesitate to point at the manager. Then, he told the department head, "It's not right to reprimand subordinates without knowing the full story." This further enraged the department head. He told the two of them to clean up the mess and leave, and not to come back tomorrow. Immediately, Gu Won called someone to clean up the ink. The department head asked in surprise, "Who did Gu Won just call?" He replied that it was his director, causing the department head to immediately change his tone. It was at this point that he realized Gu Won was the chairman's son. Gu Won ignored the department head's repeated apologies, insisting on leaving because the department head had previously fired him. Afterward, he invited Sang Sik to go with him and promised to make him a full-time employee. Sang Sik thanked him profusely, deeply moved. Gu Won said, "From now on, you will be my right-hand man." Back at home, Gu Won's father scolded him for wanting to quit on his first day. Gu Won said he wasn't suited for the company and wanted to return to England to continue his studies. His father compared him unfavorably to his older half-sister. Meanwhile, his half-sister tried to calm their father's anger. Immediately afterward, the half-sister wanted to talk to Gu Won and gave him a hotel room key for the night. She didn't want him in the house. She promised to provide him with everything he needed to leave the country, as long as he never tried to claim anything from the family or the company. But Gu-won didn't need anything from her. He took the hotel key and left. He would stay at his family's hotel for the next few days before returning to England. The next morning, Sa Rang arrived at the King Hotel. She was excited because it was her first day on the job. Manager Kim briefed everyone on their duties, emphasizing the importance of always maintaining a friendly smile with customers, no matter the circumstances. Immediately afterward, she was assigned to work in the gym. Her job was to wipe up the sweat left behind by customers. It was then that Sa Rang realized the job wasn't as rosy as she had imagined, but she maintained a fake smile. Elsewhere, Gu-won had an entire clothing store brought to him so he could choose his outfit. It was also Sang-sik's first day on the job. Gu-won told Sang-sik to prepare everything because they were about to leave. Sang-sik was still uneasy. He asked, "Am I officially an employee yet? I risked everything to follow you here, and if I don't get anything out of it, I'm screwed." Immediately, Gu-won called his subordinates and had Sang-sik promoted to his official secretary. This made Sang-sik extremely happy. In the gym, a man was captivated by Sa Rang. He kept trying to get her attention, but Sa Rang found his actions annoying. Shortly after, she received a letter and a tip from the man in the pink shirt. Inside were rude words, no different from a pervert. Sa Rang became furious and wanted to confront him. Coincidentally, Gu-won was also wearing a shirt similar to the other man's. Sa Rang approached him and increased the speed of the treadmill, causing Gu-won to fall. She cursed at him and returned the letter and the tip, while Gu-won had no idea what was going on. That day, Director Gu tested Sa Rang's abilities. She was surprised that Sa Rang had learned so much in such a short time. Furthermore, her English was excellent. Immediately, the director transferred Sa Rang to the front desk as a receptionist. This surprised and delighted her. Manager Kim commented that there was no shortage of English speakers there, and that one needed to be proficient in at least 2 languages to meet the standards. Sa Rang then rattled off phrases in both Chinese and Japanese. As a result, the manager couldn't find any fault with her. Meanwhile, Director Gu went to see her half-brother. She kicked Gu-won out of the hotel because he had overstayed his checkout time. She also told him, "Go settle down over there permanently." Gu-won replied, "Whether I stay or go is my decision." It seemed that his half-sister was afraid he would take away her inheritance. He left without another word. Outside, Gu-won and Sa Rang passed each other. They didn't recognize each other, but that moment was destined to be a significant one in both of their futures. Time flew by, and Sa Rang became a full-time employee. Gu-won was still studying abroad. Then one day, her first fleeting romance blossomed. Gu-won also successfully completed his graduation program in England. Today, Gu-won called his close friend Sang-sik. He announced his preparations to return to South Korea. A few days later, Gu-won arrived home. His father advised him to stay and work at the company. From hotels and airlines to distribution, he could work wherever he liked. His half-sister still didn't want to see Gu-won there. She told their father, "Gu-won is just back for a break. He hasn't finished his studies yet." Immediately after, Gu-won decided to stay and work, and he wanted to work at the King Hotel. His father fully supported him, while his half-sister was worried. He wanted his 2 children to compete fairly, so he could evaluate both of their abilities and see who was truly worthy of inheriting the conglomerate. He advised Gu-won to move out of the hotel and back home before their mother's Memorial Day. Gu-won replied, "Which mother? I haven't even met her. I don't even know if she's alive or dead." His father was angered by Gu-won's words and left the dinner table. Before leaving, his half-sister told Gu-won, "You really are like your mother, both in personality and recklessness." Gu-won angrily left the house in the rain. Sang-sik, understanding Gu-won's mood, threw away his umbrella. He walked alongside Gu-won in the rain, despite Gu-won telling him to go back and stop following him. But Sang-sik stuck to Gu-won like glue, arm in arm like lovers. The next morning, they both prepared to attend the inauguration ceremony. Suddenly, Gu-won realized he had forgotten his phone and wanted to go back for it. But Sang-sik said, "Just go, Gu-won. I'll have someone bring it to you right away." After walking a short distance, he realized he had forgotten his documents and turned back to call Sang-sik, but he was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Sa Rang was tasked with retrieving a guest's phone from a luxury suite and bringing it to the management director's office. Sa Rang wanted to attend to her rumbling stomach first, but manager Kim wouldn't allow it because retrieving the phone was urgent and important. Reluctantly, she endured her hunger pangs and went up to the guest's room. She was overwhelmed by the luxurious suite. After retrieving the phone, she couldn't hold it in any longer and had to use the guest's bathroom. She playfully fiddled with the automatic blinds, marveling at their modernity. Outside, Gu-won had returned to get his documents. He heard a strange noise coming from his bedroom. In this romantic setting, the two encountered each other once again. Sa Rang was mortified. She wished the earth would swallow her whole. Gu-won knocked on the bathroom door but received no answer. He opened the door, and Sa Rang tumbled into his arms. Flustered, she apologized profusely, but he didn't seem to care. He recognized her as the woman who had cursed at him in the gym the other day. Sa Rang, however, didn't remember him. She quickly left, embarrassed. Gu-won chased after her to ask why she had yelled at him that day. When he mentioned the incident, Sa Rang suddenly remembered. She called him a pervert. He retorted, "Isn't using the bathroom with the blinds on transparent mode perverted?" Gu-won then demanded an apology for both that day and the previous incident. But Sa Rang only wanted to apologize for the current situation. He was exasperated by her stubbornness. He warned her, "Don't let me see your face again." Soon after, during his inauguration ceremony, Gu-won walked out to Sa Rang's horror. Even more daunting, she was the outstanding employee chosen to present flowers to the new director. Gu-won looked down and saw everyone smiling. He felt haunted by it. Memories of the past flooded his mind. It seemed that smiles were what hurt him the most. After regaining his composure, he gave a brief introduction of himself, followed by the flower presentation from the outstanding employee, Sa Rang. She tried to avoid him, but there was no escape. Sa Rang gave a forced smile to welcome her new director. Later, they ran into each other again because they were scheduled to film a commercial for the hotel together. Gu-won cleared up the misunderstanding about the gym incident. "Even if I were dying, you wouldn't be my type." Sa Rang mentioned that he had been wearing a tiger print t-shirt at the time. He retorted, "Does everyone who wears that shirt a pervert? You didn't even bother to confirm, just judged me by my shirt. What kind of person do you think I am?" Immediately after making her point, Sa Rang flashed her practiced, professional smile. He told her he hated fake smiles the most, so she should never smile in front of him again. Sa Rang thanked him for that, for not forcing her to put on that insincere smile. She also sincerely apologized for the gym incident. Sa Rang was also honored to attend the evening party introducing director Gu-won to the other shareholders. After she gave a congratulatory speech to Gu-won, Chairman Gu-han, taking a liking to her, gifted her a special cut of tuna. She brought the gift home to her friends, but when they saw the tuna head with its wide, round eyes staring back at them, they couldn't bring themselves to touch it. However, her perpetually hungry friend felt differently. A short while later, the fresh tuna was on a plate. The two friends savored the exquisite taste, while Sa Rang abstained. When Sa Rang revealed that it was worth 700 million won, and that this head alone was worth at least 100 million won, they both ate while tears streamed down their faces, regretting their impulsive feast. That evening, Sa Rang and her boyfriend had a date on the Love Lock Bridge. As he attached a lock engraved with their names, he either accidentally or intentionally dropped the lock into the water, keeping only the key, which he attached to the bridge. As they left, the key also fell. It seemed like fate. Later, they joined a party with his old friends. Her boyfriend inconsiderately left Sa Rang alone while he enjoyed himself with everyone else. After a while, feeling isolated, Sa Rang quietly slipped away. Her boyfriend noticed and ran after her. He promised to say goodbye to everyone and then take Sa Rang home. But once inside, he couldn't resist the lively atmosphere and stayed. Outside, Sa Rang's face showed disappointment. She wandered the streets alone. Coincidentally, Gu-won was in a similar mood. He stood right next to her, but neither of them recognized each other. They both stood there, lost in their own thoughts. Then, they turned and walked away, each in a different direction. Several days later, everyone gathered at the airport to fly to Jeju Island for the Gold Hotel commercial shoot. Seeing Sa Rang in a white dress reminded him of someone. He couldn't take his eyes off her until she interrupted his reverie. Suddenly, he snapped at both her and sang sick. Gu-won pushed his suitcase towards Sarang for her to pull, but she dodged it. It accidentally bumped into an older gentleman behind them. When the man asked who the suitcase belonged to, they both pointed at Gu-won and quietly slipped away, leaving him to deal with the situation. He approached the man and offered him some money. This immediately changed the man's attitude. After landing in Jeju, still annoyed by the earlier incident, Gu-won abandoned the other two. He rode alone in a luxury car, speeding off in the wind, while the two of them took a taxi behind him. During the filming, watching Gu-won's dashing demeanor as he approached her, Sarang's heart began to flutter. She froze in that moment, face to face with Gu-won. Stepping into the chute, Sarang asked Gu-won the pre-prepared questions. She brought up his mother, which made Gu-won very uncomfortable. He remained silent, saying nothing, leaving Sarang feeling embarrassed. Then, Gu-won abruptly left in front of the studio crew and the live audience. Left alone, Sarang maintained her composure. She interacted actively with the audience, very confident, without a trace of worry. A while later, Gu-won regained his composure and returned to the studio. He wanted to see the interview questions in Sarang's hands. All the questions were related to his mother, all prepared by his paternal half-sister. After reviewing them, Gu-won threw them all away. He advised her to drop those childish questions and ask what she really wanted to know. Sarang seemed flustered, so she pointed towards the sunset. She asked Gu-won, "Do you like watching the sunset?" He thought the timing was ideal, so he went out to watch it. Just like that, they both remained silent, saying nothing to each other. At the end of the filming, Sarang appeared very angry. She argued that those few questions wouldn't affect him, but for a lowly employee like her, she could be fired at any moment. You work at your father's company for fun, so how could you understand the struggles of someone who hustles to make a living? Just then, Sang-sik approached to deliver good news. The photo they took together had become a viral sensation. But neither of them cared about that. They exchanged sharp glances, as if ready to devour each other. The next morning, Sarang and Gu-won had a photoshoot with the theme Smile. While she posed in various dynamic ways, he did not. Gu-won kept his cold expression from beginning to end. It wasn't until Sarang reminded him that he changed, but his smile was incredibly fake. He just wanted to get the shoot over with quickly. Even the photographers were annoyed, but they could only curse under their breath and do nothing about it. While their boat was heading out to sea, the engine suddenly died. The weather wasn't very good either, so the boat owner wanted to dock at a nearby island. By the time they reached the island, it was already dark. The boat owner wanted them to spend the night at a guest house on the island. They could return to shore the next morning after the boat was repaired. According to the old woman, it was the most luxurious hotel there, but it looked no different from a low-income lodging house. The old woman asked, "Are you two here for your honeymoon?" Immediately, they both denied it in unison. The elderly couple brought out a bottle of precious liquor to offer their guests. Gu-won always wanted to show Sarang that he was a heavyweight drinker, so he wanted to drink from a large bowl. Sarang, not wanting to be outdone, did the same. Just like that, the two of them downed 2 or 3 jars of liquor until they were slightly intoxicated. Afterwards, they sat and confided in each other about everything. When he saw Sarang smile, Gu-won felt very uncomfortable. Smiling was something he had been fixated on since childhood. He demanded that she never smile in front of him, not even during work or after hours. But Sarang immediately objected. "I'll smile if I want to. Why are you forbidding me?" After eating and drinking their fill, they both went back to their rooms to rest. The next morning, when she woke up, Sarang was still drowsy, and she clumsily fell onto Gu-won. Embarrassed, Sarang immediately got up. She was shocked to discover they had slept in the same room, separated only by a curtain. Later, Gu-won took Sarang on a bicycle ride to see the ocean. The beautiful scenery made her incredibly delighted. When they returned to pay for the room, Sarang was horrified. The total cost was a whopping 700,000 won, no different from a high-end hotel. Just then, the boat owner also arrived. They were both shocked to learn that he was the son of the elderly couple. He had tricked them into staying at the guest house, as there was nothing wrong with the boat. To avoid trouble, Gu-won was going to have his secretary send the money to the old woman later. But Sarang stopped him. She argued that the room rate was too expensive. After some calculations, the fair price was only 300,000 won. She threatened to report the old woman to the authorities for price gouging tourists. Hearing this, the son agreed to the lower price to avoid trouble. Sitting on the boat, Gu-won wondered aloud, "It's just a small amount of money. Why bother making such a fuss?" Sa-rang explained that since she was a child, her grandmother taught her the value of money. It was obvious they were being ripped off. Cheating others is wrong. Back home, her two close friends asked about the filming and what the director was like. Sa-rang declared him to be a terrible person. His personality was so bad, even a doctor couldn't fix it. Meanwhile, Gu-won was being reprimanded by his father for the incident in the studio. "You walked out just because of those questions. How are you going to take over the business later on? Is the head office director even less capable than a female employee?" Gu-won argued that everything was fine. They had attracted a large audience, the promotional effect was good, and the results were good, so that was all that mattered. His father retorted sarcastically, "Good? Where was it good?" The process was agonizing. His father claimed that it was all thanks to Sa-rang's handling of the situation. "How old are you and still looking for your mother?" Gu-won replied. "I'm not looking for my mother. I'm just looking for the truth." His father immediately countered, "What you should be looking for now is the company's profits and stock price. The only thing we can trust is money. Everything else is fake." The next morning, during work hours, Gu-won looked back at Sa-rang's photo, at her smile, and suddenly he smiled too. He didn't even understand what he had just done. Just then, an advertisement appeared on his screen. Curious about the love compatibility test, Gu-won clicked on it. He ended up spending the entire evening taking the quiz. All the questions seemed to have a connection to Sa-rang. When he saw her smile, he unconsciously smiled along. He used Sa-rang as the subject of his answers. The result declared, "You are secretly in love with that person. Go ahead and confirm their feelings. You are completely captivated by their irresistible charm." While working on the test, Gu-won unexpectedly saw Sa-rang, which made him very flustered. He stood from afar, quietly watching her. He couldn't understand what he was doing either. Seeing a box of chocolates, he wanted to give it to Sa-rang as a thank you. But just as he was about to call her name, Sa-rang's boyfriend arrived. Gu-won froze in this situation. Then, he silently turned and walked away. Sa-rang's boyfriend had come to apologize for his recent actions. But she didn't seem to accept his apology. She had put up with him long enough. Right then and there, she wanted to break up, to end the relationship. "If I continue dating you, I feel like I'm betraying myself. It seems like I've spoiled you too much." Just then, his phone rang with a call from his drinking buddies, and he promised he'd join them soon. This infuriated Sa-rang even more. She coldly turned and walked away, ignoring him calling her name from behind. Gu-won couldn't understand his own feelings at that moment. Why did he feel jealous, or something like that? The next morning, Sa-rang was transferred to a new workplace. She would be working at the bar, which served only the hotel's VIP guests. While Gu-won was lost in thought, thinking about Sa-rang, the manager brought her in for introductions. Seeing her smile, his heart skipped a beat. But Gu-won still tried to maintain his usual cold demeanor, pretending not to care. But as soon as Sa-rang left, his lovesick expression returned. During the staff meeting, he couldn't take his eyes off Sa-rang, constantly stealing glances at her. He paid no attention to the manager's words. His mind was focused solely on Sa-rang. Back in his office, he looked up Sa-rang's phone number. He hesitated, unsure whether to call or text. After a period of thoughtful deliberation, Gu-won decided to send her a message. He wanted to talk to her after work. But he waited, and Sa-rang still hadn't replied. The feeling of anxious anticipation was something he seemed to be experiencing for the first time. An hour, then 2 hours passed without a response, so he decided to call Sa-rang. Sa-rang, seeing an unknown number, didn't answer the phone. The next morning, when Gu-won woke up, he checked his messages, but Sa-rang still hadn't replied. Annoyed, he went to her workplace to find her. Gu-won asked, "I asked to meet you yesterday. I texted and called you. Why didn't you answer?" Sa-rang was genuinely surprised, as she didn't know that number belonged to him. She asked, "So what did you want to talk about?" Gu-won wanted to take her to dinner. After you treated me to juice last time, I want to treat you to a meal this time. Consider it paying you back. She reproached him. When asking someone out, you should ask if they're busy first. Gu-won then formally asked, Sa-rang, do you have any plans tonight? She calmly replied, I don't, but I don't want to have dinner with you. It makes me really uncomfortable. Angered, Gu-won turned and went back to his office. Gu-won told Sang-sik, arrange a dinner for me with Miss Sa-rang after work. When Sang-sik asked for the reason, he said it was a welcome party for her new position. Gu-won was happy to see Sa-rang's face, but his excitement quickly faded when he realized her entire group of coworkers were also there. Startled, he turned back to reproach Sang-sik, feeling embarrassed and no longer wanting to go in, but Sang-sik insisted on pulling him inside. He had envisioned a dinner for just the two of them, but now it had turned into this. His plan seemed to have backfired. Seeing that Sa-rang couldn't eat raw food, he told Sang-sik to immediately prepare a steak for her. But it was a Japanese restaurant, so they didn't have steak. Gu-won still insisted that Sang-sik go to the restaurant next door to buy one for her. This made Sa-rang extremely embarrassed. She then called Gu-won outside to talk. She thought he was intentionally making things difficult for her. Despite Gu-won's attempts to explain that he just wanted to show his concern for her, Sa-rang felt very uncomfortable in such a public setting. She pleaded with him, from now on, please pretend you don't know me. Back home, her two friends threw Sa-rang an early birthday party. They had prepared many dishes for their close friend and even gave Sa-rang a surprise gift, a provocative bikini. They wanted Sa-rang to wear it the next day, on her actual birthday, with her boyfriend. It was then that she revealed they had broken up. Hearing this, her two friends were very surprised, but Sa-rang remained calm, saying that she was fine and didn't feel any regret about the relationship. Immediately afterward, the three of them turned up the music and started dancing, as was their habit. The following evening, Sa-rang's ex-boyfriend waited in front of the hotel to give her birthday flowers. She exclaimed, "We broke up. What are you doing here?" Sa-rang was furious that he was still pretending not to understand what she was saying. She also pleaded with him, "Don't ever appear in front of me again." Sa-rang walked alone in the rain, throwing away her umbrella and standing crying in a familiar place, a place where she could release pressure or sadness. At that moment, Gu-won also appeared, with an umbrella over his head. He said, "This is my spot," making Sa-rang feel flustered. She quietly tried to leave but accidentally fell into Gu-won's arms. Gu-won then offered to take her home. On the drive back, Sa-rang fell asleep without realizing it. Gu-won quietly covered her with a blanket. His mind was now filled with strange thoughts. He drove to a quiet place and woke her up. He took out a gift bag for her, as he knew it was her birthday and wanted to take her to dinner. After changing into the outfit Gu-won had given her, Sa-rang was startled to realize they were now wearing matching outfits while having dinner. She was worried people would misunderstand them as a couple. Gu-won remarked, "Who would say we're a couple anyway?" Just then, a staff member came to take a commemorative photo of the two of them. She complimented them on how good they looked together, despite Sa-rang's continuous denials. Sa-rang continued to reproach Gu-won, asking why he chose matching outfits, leading to such misunderstandings. He explained, "I just asked someone to bring me something. I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence." But there was nothing coincidental about it. Earlier, while Sa-rang was sleeping in the car, Gu-won had stopped at a department store to shop. He was drawn to the two outfits and even managed to estimate Sa-rang's size. That's why the shoes he gifted her fit perfectly. Gu-won ordered a lot of food, making Sa-rang wonder how they could possibly finish it all. He said there was no need to eat everything, just to enjoy what they liked. Besides, he added, "I want to know what your favorite foods are, your habits, your favorite colors. Tell me everything you like." Sa-rang wondered why he wanted to know these things. He replied, "So I don't waste anything and can focus on what you like." Hearing this, Sa-rang was speechless. After finishing the meal, she insisted on paying for dinner, despite Gu-won's objections. When she heard the total was almost 2 million won, she was truly shocked. Gu-won, understanding her situation, pulled out his card and paid instead. The awkwardness returned as they arrived at Sa-rang's home, where Gu-won surprised her with a cake. Sa-rang was truly grateful for everything Gu-won had done for her that day. Just then, Sa-rang's ex-boyfriend suddenly appeared. He accused her of dumping him because she had someone new. Sa Rang had already firmly broken up with him, but he continued to bother her. She pulled out her phone to call the police, but he stopped her. He insinuated that Sa Rang was two-timing him. Hearing this, she became even more furious, blaming herself for not breaking up with him sooner. She then warned him never to appear in front of her again and coldly walked inside. Gu-won wasn't about to back down either. He warned the ex-boyfriend not to harass her anymore. Following someone who doesn't like you is also a form of violence. Sa Rang went inside and opened Gu-won's cake, then received a text message from him with birthday wishes. Before Sa Rang could reply, he called her. "If anything like that happens again, call me directly, don't bother the police." His last words were, "Happy birthday," as he hadn't had a chance to say it earlier. Hearing this, Sa Rang felt very touched. She lit the candles alone and enjoyed her birthday in peace. Meanwhile, Gu-won couldn't take his eyes off their photo together. When Eun-ha and Dale returned home, they immediately asked Sa Rang about her outfit. They wanted to know which rich guy had given her such expensive items. But Sa Rang refused to reveal anything. Her friends didn't need to know who he was, but from the looks of it, he was definitely interested in her. "Go on a date with him quickly," they urged. "And you can't just accept these gifts without doing anything in return. You should buy him a thank you gift." Pyong Hwa immediately pulled out some perfume to advertise, as she needed to meet her sales quota for the month. But Sa Rang refused to buy it. The next morning, Gu-won was still admiring the photo. He quickly hid it when he saw Sang-sik enter, carrying a stack of documents. Sang-sik noticed the photo of Gu-won and Sa Rang underneath. They were even wearing matching outfits. Gu-won explained that it was just for her birthday, an employee perk. Transit interrupted. "I'm an employee too, I want perks. Or buy me a matching outfit." Before he could finish his sentence, Gu-won kicked him out of the office. That evening, Sa Rang arranged to meet Gu-won to give him a gift. She didn't want Gu-won to pick her up, afraid of gossip spreading in the hotel. She gave him the gift and quickly tried to leave. But Gu-won didn't want it to end there. He wanted to have dinner with her. Sa Rang led Gu-won to a restaurant, which she claimed was the most famous. For the first time in his life, he experienced what it was like to wait in line. After an hour, they were finally seated. Gu-won was fascinated by everything there. He drank 5 glasses of draft beer at once. The chef's performance was unique, and the food was delicious. It was the first time in his life he had enjoyed such a wonderful dinner. On one side, Hwa Ran's husband wanted a divorce. He revealed that he was in love with someone else, whose identity remained unknown. Hwa Ran told him he could love whoever he wanted, but she absolutely refused to divorce. She was in the midst of a power struggle with Gu-won over inheritance rights, and therefore, she needed her husband to hold on a little longer. After that, he could divorce her if he wished. That day, Sa Rang was assigned by the company to participate in a farmer's market week. Her journey would take her to remote rural areas to promote the image of the King Hotel. Gu-won, worried about her, was angry about this promotional event. It was nothing short of exploiting the employee's labor, yet he was the one who signed off on it. What he didn't anticipate was that the chosen employee would be Sa Rang. He started to text her, but kept deleting the messages without sending them. At the crack of dawn, Sa Rang arrived at a villager's house. Unfortunately, the homeowner had already gone up the mountain to a river island. Sa Rang didn't want to return empty-handed, so she decided to climb the mountain to find him. Following the wife's directions, she trekked alone through the difficult terrain. Just then, she spotted a wild ginseng plant. Before she could answer Gu-won, Sa Rang rushed towards it. Before she could fully rejoice in her discovery, she accidentally slipped and fell down a cliff, losing consciousness. Gu-won repeatedly texted and called, but no one answered. When Sa Rang woke up, she found herself at the bottom of a ravine. She cried out for help, but there was obviously no one around. She wept, fearing she would be trapped there forever. At that moment, the light of a helicopter shone down on her. Then, the silhouette of Gu-won appeared from above. He jumped down like a hero. Sa Rang couldn't believe he was there. She burst into tears and hugged him. She had been terrified she would die there. Gu-won comforted her, saying, "Everything's all right." Up above, due to the worsening weather, the pilot had to descend, leaving the two of them there. Fortunately, the homeowner arrived and brought them back safely. He had gone looking for her when he heard she had gone up the mountain to find him and hadn't returned. He scolded her for working so hard for the company. Who in the company would give such an order? Sa Rang pointed towards Gu Won, making him feel embarrassed. After dinner, they sat and talked. Gu Won advised her to go to the hospital for a checkup the next day. He also told her not to overwork for the company. I promise this won't happen again. Hearing this, Sa Rang felt reassured. He was truly different from his predecessors. The next morning, they prepared to return to the city. Sa Rang tried to persuade the homeowner to send any good ginseng he found to the King Hotel in the future. But he already had a connection with another hotel. He advised them to leave and not waste their efforts. Just then, Sa Rang remembered the ginseng she had dug up the day before. She showed it to him to see if it was valuable. The homeowner and his wife were astonished by the ginseng root. It was a rare variety that he had only found once in his lifetime. He praised Sa Rang's good character for finding it and tried to convince her to stay and work with him. Gu Won immediately intervened. You said she's talented, a treasure of the company. I'll repay you for saving Sa Rang's life. He wanted to give the valuable ginseng to the homeowner, but he refused to accept it. He told her to take it home for her parents. Sa Rang quietly said, I don't have parents anymore, but I have a grandmother. Maybe I'll give it to her. The homeowner agreed and went to get a gift box to wrap it in. Before they left, he called Gu Won aside for a chat. He would send the ginseng to the King Hotel, so there was no need for any more staff to come. Seeing Sa Rang's enthusiasm, he had changed his mind. Gu Won expressed his sincere gratitude. Outside, Sang Sik was waiting to pick them up. He revealed that the chairman was summoning Gu Won. He was furious about the disruption Gu Won had caused at the company just to save an employee. Afterwards, Gu Won, after almost staying behind, drove Sa Rang back to her grandmother's house. He walked her to the door, but then lingered outside, reluctant to leave. Gu Won peeked through a crack in the door to watch Sa Rang work. Just then, her grandmother came out and saw him. She asked, Who are you? Why are you sneaking around peeking at my granddaughter? He explained. I waited for her, but she didn't come out, so I was just curious. Upon learning he was Sa Rang's colleague, she made him bring 2 bags of onions inside. Seeing him, she knew he had never peeled an onion before, so she guided him step by step. And so, Gu Won single-handedly chopped 2 bags of onions, rather than peeling them. The grandmother was shocked when she saw the pile of chopped onions, asking, You peeled the onions like this? She shook her head in disbelief at the young man, unable to even peel onions properly. Afterwards, she invited Gu Won inside for a drink. Sa Rang scolded her grandmother for making him peel onions, especially since he was a high-ranking executive at the company. But her grandmother said, He's not the chairman's son, why worry? I'll treat Gu Won to the restaurant's special ox head soup. Although a little apprehensive at first, he found the soup delicious. After finishing, she packed a portion for him to take home and even paid him for peeling the onions. Gu Won drove Sa Rang back to her apartment, where she thanked him for everything. Gu Won said, If you want to repay me, buy me a meal. She readily agreed, suggesting they go whenever he was free. He replied, How about we go on a date? Hearing this, Sa Rang was taken aback. She didn't understand the meaning of date in this context. She didn't say anything, embarrassedly grabbing her suitcase and rushing inside, leaving Gu Won feeling his day had been truly fulfilling. That evening, the hotel hosted a birthday party for the youngest daughter of a Kebal family. This girl had been promised to Gu Won in an arranged marriage since childhood. Shortly after, Gu Won arrived with a large gift box. He entered, but not without casting an affectionate glance at Sa Rang. Starship, due to an unexpected matter, asked her to hold the gift box for him. The girl happily rushed to hug Gu Won. When he turned to retrieve the gift to present it, he was surprised to see Sa Rang holding it. Noticing her unhappy expression, he asked her the reason, but she remained silent. Outside, Sa Rang suddenly confronted Sang Sik. What's wrong with you men? Don't ask someone out on a date if you don't truly like them. Then, she angrily stormed off, leaving Sang Sik bewildered. Back home, Sa Rang asked her 2 close friends, Do men just casually say let's go on a date to anyone? Pyong Hwa replied that she met tons of guys like that at the airport, but most of them were already taken. Sa Rang agreed, suspecting Gu Won already had a girlfriend and yet dared to utter the word date in front of her. Neither of her friends knew that the man Sa Rang was referring to was Gu Won, the chairman's son, whom they all worked for. To dispel their gloom, the three friends turned up the music and partied, ordering a feast of pizza, fried chicken, and everything else. While Sa Rang was showcasing her singing talents, the doorbell rang. She assumed it was the delivery guy, but she froze when she saw Gu Won standing outside. He, too, was stunned by the scene. Sa Rang awkwardly asked, "Why are you here?" He insisted on coming inside to talk. Inside were Sa Rang's two friends. Both sides were startled to see each other. The two friends asked Gu Won about his position at the company. He simply stated that he worked in the same department as Sa Rang. Pyong Hwa and Da Yul proceeded to badmouth the head office director, unaware that the person they were talking about was sitting right in front of them. Sa Rang, feeling embarrassed for them, interjected, "He used to be like that, but he's different now. He's not as bad as you think." The two friends asked for Gu Won's name. He hesitated, then said, "Just call me Manager No." Pyong Hwa teased, "Are you here because you miss our Sa Rang? You were together all day, and now, after just a little while apart, you miss her this much?" Gu Won, flustered, denied everything, and to give the potential couple some privacy, the two friends excused themselves. Sa Rang apologized to Gu Won for her friend's behavior, then scolded him. "You shouldn't have left that girl's birthday party to come here, especially on her birthday." Gu Won clarified, "She's not my girlfriend." She retorted, "Then why were you hugging so intimately? Are you some kind of public resting place where anyone can just fall into your arms?" He smiled and asked, "Are you jealous right now?" Sa Rang, embarrassed, denied it. "Not at all. I really don't care who you date." He understood what she was really thinking. He gently stroked her hair and promised to prevent any further misunderstandings. Upstairs, the two friends had been secretly peeking at them and quickly hid when they were discovered. Afterwards, the two took a walk, chatting about everything. He had already walked 5 laps around the area, but still didn't want to leave. Gu Won took Sa Rang's hand, wanting to go for another round. Seeing them hand in hand made even someone perpetually single like him feel envious. That day, while working, Pyong Hwa was bothered by a pilot who was overly playful. She felt uncomfortable with his persistent attention. Just then, Jo-hun arrived and intervened. Jo-hun reassured Pyong Hwa, "If anything happens, or if you need any help, just tell me." They clearly had feelings for each other, and Ul-ha really liked this kind young man. Meanwhile, Hwa Ran wanted Sa Rang to hold a press conference. Gu Won's older sister wanted to take credit for his efforts. She claimed she had worked tirelessly to find Sa Rang when she was trapped on the mountain, even mobilizing a helicopter search. Sa Rang felt uncomfortable with these lies but couldn't do anything about it. However, when she saw Gu Won in the audience, she didn't hesitate to mention his name and express her gratitude. An Arabian Prince was scheduled to visit South Korea. Chairman Gu wanted his son to find a way to attract the prince to their hotel. Gu Won called the prince directly. Although they weren't particularly fond of each other, they had attended the same class while studying abroad in England. Gu Won promised to fulfill all his requests, so the prince agreed to stay at his hotel. They would draft a contract, where Gu Won only had 2 choices, accept or reject. When the prince arrived, he was captivated by Sa Rang's smile. Gu Won, standing beside her, felt annoyed but couldn't do anything. Sa Rang, on behalf of the hotel, presented the prince with a bracelet, but he wanted her to personally put it on him. Gu Won stepped in and did it for her, saying, "All formalities are complete. Please follow me to your room." But the prince ignored him, insisting on inviting Sa Rang to dine with him. Later, the two had lunch together. Gu Won, not wanting the prince to steal the woman he liked, decided to interrupt and disrupt their meal. The two men exchanged sharp glances, practically ready to devour each other. In the following days, the prince wanted Sa Rang constantly by his side. She took him sightseeing and exploring. Gu Won, refusing to be outdone, closely followed them. Every time the prince made any intimate gestures towards Sa Rang, he intervened. No matter what, he never took his eyes off her. That evening, the prince prepared a dress for Sa Rang to wear for a special occasion. She entered, looking like a princess. As it was the prince's last night at the hotel, he wanted to do something special for her, a dinner filled with candles and flowers, just the two of them. The prince signaled for the waiter to bring wine. Gu-won emerged from behind the scenes, playing the role of a professional waiter. Sa-rang was taken aback by this situation. He had temporarily set aside his position as director to become a server. This was part of the contract the prince had requested, and naturally, he didn't want to jeopardize it. Shortly after, the prince took out a large diamond ring and proposed to Sa-rang. She was startled but couldn't help but glance at the valuable ring. As she reached out to touch it, Gu-won intervened, firmly objecting to the proposal. "I'm her superior, Sa-rang. I have a duty to protect my staff from a playboy like you." Gu-won pulled Sa-rang out of the room, but she wanted to retrieve the ring. She personally returned it to the prince. "I appreciate your feelings, but I must decline your proposal. It was an honor to serve you, Your Highness. I consider you a most esteemed guest." The prince responded, "This is the first time I've been rejected without feeling hurt. Next time I come, I'll bring an even more valuable ring. Perhaps then, you won't refuse." Sa-rang simply smiled at his words. She expressed her desire for all three of them, including Gu-won, to have dinner together that night. Of course, the prince couldn't refuse Sa-rang's request. That evening, the three friends went to a public bathhouse, partly to relax and partly to sell company products, as it was nearing the end of the month, and Eun-ha and Da-yul hadn't met their quotas yet. They had been reprimanded by their superiors once again. That day, Gu-won saw some flowers and immediately thought of Sa-rang's grandmother. He bought a beautiful bouquet and went to visit her. When she saw Gu-won arrive, the grandmother accidentally fell, but luckily, he caught her just in time. Gu-won then took her to the hospital. He insisted that she stay until she received a full checkup, refusing to let her leave beforehand. At that moment, Sa-rang also arrived, showing great concern for her grandmother. She tearfully persuaded her grandmother to stay and let the doctors take care of her, assuring her that she would handle everything at the cafe. Afterwards, the two returned to the cafe, where Gu-won tried to fix the electrical wiring but unfortunately ended up blowing a fuse. Sa-rang wanted to leave, but he absolutely refused. He wanted to stay there with her. There, Gu-won realized he hadn't fully confessed his feelings to her, so he decided to tell her everything. "I really, really like you. Please accept my sincere feelings." Sa-rang simply nodded, and then the two embraced, sharing a passionate kiss. The next morning, when Sa-rang's grandmother returned home, she was shocked and immediately grabbed Gu-won by the collar to confront him. He explained that he hadn't done anything inappropriate, but she continued to scold him. After her anger subsided, she treated her future grandson-in-law warmly. She even declared him the #1 candidate for the position. Later, Gu-won walked Sa-rang home, hand in hand. When they ran into Sa-rang's two close friends, Da-yul recognized him as Manager No and invited him in. While drinking together, the two friends poured out their hearts. Da-yul complained about the company's management. They had sent her on a trip to Bali, but only for 1 day. Pyonghwa's superiors had promised her a promotion after she met her targets, but then they went back on their word. Gu-won was very upset after hearing this and promised both of them that he would take responsibility and rectify the situation. The two friends were skeptical. "You're just a manager, so it might be a bit difficult. Maybe if you were the head office director." At this point, Gu-won suddenly remembered that he was playing the role of Manager No and couldn't reveal his true identity. The next morning, Gu-won ordered Sang-sik to prepare appropriate rewards for the company's outstanding employees, including Da-yul from the Kulha sales team, someone from the airline, and Sa-rang as well. They would receive a 1-week trip to Thailand. Shortly after, the plane tickets were delivered to them. They were overjoyed but unaware that Gu-won was the one behind it. That day, everyone gathered at the airport, ready to depart. Surprisingly, Sang-sik was also there, without having informed Gu-won. He called out "Director," startling Gu-won. He rushed over and covered Sang-sik's mouth. Gu-won asked, "Why are you here?" Sang-sik calmly replied, "I'm the top secretary. How could I be absent?" Gu-won introduced Sang-sik to Sa-rang's two friends. "This is the head of the Sunship Department." Hearing this, Sang-sik was truly bewildered, but he quickly adjusted his demeanor, as he was now the highest-ranking person in the group. Upon arriving in Thailand, everyone was incredibly excited and enthusiastic. They followed all of team leader Sang Sik's instructions. His motto was, "Play hard, eat hard." They spent the whole day exploring Bangkok, eating and drinking until they were exhausted and returned to their rooms. When everyone was sound asleep, Sa Rang and Gu Won secretly met up. Although they had been around each other all day, they hadn't had any time alone. The two were intimate by the pool, sharing sweet kisses. The surroundings were quiet, filled only with the sounds of their affection. After returning from their trip to Thailand, Sa Rang bought gifts for her colleagues. From then on, their perspective on Sa Rang changed, and they became friendlier towards her. That evening, young June and Pyong Hwa had a date. She asked June, "Do you really like me?" He immediately confirmed, "Yes, I do." But Pyong Hwa felt she couldn't accept his feelings. June wasn't bothered by her response, as he had expressed his true feelings. Pyong Hwa's feelings were her own to decide. That day, Sa Rang's grandmother returned home and heard a strange noise in the kitchen. Thinking it was a burglar, she was surprised to find Gu Won there, fixing her sink. He had also brought a plethora of gifts. He observed that Sa Rang and her grandmother were exactly alike, quick to resort to violence before even speaking. Her grandmother scolded Gu Won. "Why did you buy so many gifts? Did you even buy anything for your own father?" He nonchalantly replied, "I don't lower myself to such things. It's a waste of good upbringing." His grandmother promptly retrieved a bottle of premium ginseng and told him to take it to his father immediately. He readily agreed. Gu Won expressed his gratitude to her grandmother for raising Sa Rang single-handedly since she was young, but she brushed it off, claiming the girl raised herself. He promised her, "From now on, I will be a strong support and protect her." She expressed her hope that this would be true and insisted that Gu Won always treat Sa Rang well. That evening, Sa Rang prepared dinner at her home and invited Gu Won over. He brought a bouquet of fresh flowers for her. Sa Rang cooked a delicious meal. At this crucial moment, Sang Sik called, but Gu Won silenced his phone. They enjoyed their private dinner together, chatting about everything under the sun, and then shared passionate kisses, a moment they considered the happiest of their lives. Just then, her friends returned home and shrieked upon witnessing the scene. Sa Rang could no longer hide her relationship, and her two friends demanded a full explanation. Sa Rang admitted, "We only recently got together." Pyong Hwa reproached her, "We've never kept secrets from each other. How dare you hide this from us? If I ever find out you've hidden anything else this earth-shattering, you're dead." Hearing this, both of them froze. Gu Won decided to reveal his true identity. "I'm the son of the terrible chairman you always complain about. And that man over there is Secretary No the Nazi." Everyone was stunned, and their attitudes changed instantly. They offered Gu Won a cushion to sit on and brought him water, extremely embarrassed by the situation. Da Yul said, "If I've ever said anything out of line, please forgive me." Gu Won retorted, "Please, continue treating me poorly as before. It's more comfortable that way." The three of them knelt and profusely apologized to Gu Won, who was flustered by the sudden shift in dynamics. After settling everything, Gu Won wanted to confront Fan Sist outside. He explained, "I never intended to deceive you. I was just following Chairman Gu Won's instructions. Please forgive me." Sang Sik started crying and reproached Gu Won, "How could you get a girlfriend before me? And then you two date without telling me?" Gu Won was speechless at his best friend's antics. Inside, the two friends were curious. "What do you like about him?" Sa Rang replied, "Everything. He makes me feel safe and happy, and he's always there for me when I need him." Her friends congratulated Sa Rang, happy that she had found someone kind. That evening, Sa Rang's group went out for dinner and drinks. Her colleagues opened up about their feelings. Initially, they hadn't liked her, but after working together for a while, their opinions had changed. After the meal, everyone took taxis home, while Sa Rang stayed behind, waiting for the bus. Just then, Gu Won appeared, as usual, to take her home. Both of them were drenched from the rain, and Gu Won's six-pack abs were revealed to Sa Rang, flustering her, but also making her gulp. They embraced and shared a passionate kiss. The next day, Sa Rang was assigned to the Dream Team, the highest position at the hotel. She would serve high-profile clients outside the hotel, with a significantly higher salary. Sa Rang transferred to a different hotel to cater to these special guests. She was surprised to find Gu Won there. His family was dining with another wealthy family. Gu-won was sitting next to a young woman whom both families had arranged for him to marry. Sa-rang tried to remain professional, but her heart was in turmoil. Gu-won understood what she was thinking. Hearing his father mention his upcoming marriage to his fiancée this year, Sa-rang was truly shocked. She shot Gu-won a look and then apologized for her clumsiness after accidentally dropping something. Sa-rang began to pick up the shards, but Gu-won stopped her, asking if she was hurt and telling her to leave it to him. The manager gestured for Sa-rang to leave. She walked out in a daze, lost in thought. Inside, Gu-won revealed that he already had a girlfriend, but his father dismissed it. Today's meeting was about him and Yuri. Gu-won protested. "I've never had feelings for Yuri. Besides, being with Yuri doesn't matter. Everyone falls in love and breaks up," his father said. He should enjoy dating and then break up decisively. After all, they were going to get married anyway. At this, Gu-won became truly uncomfortable and excused himself. Outside, he found Sa-rang and apologized for letting her overhear the conversation. Sa-rang claimed she was fine, just a little surprised. Gu-won firmly assured her, "That won't happen. Call me when you're finished." He would wait until he got home. Gu-won's father advised him to end his relationship with the girl. To him, marriage was more important than love. He was grooming Gu-won to take over the conglomerate, and marrying Sushi was a strategic advantage he should seize. Gu-won refused to end his relationship, insisting he would protect her because she was the woman he truly loved. His father worried that Gu-won would follow in his footsteps, as his own mother had been forced to leave under similar circumstances. The next day, Gu-won sought out Sa-rang. He asked, "I called you yesterday. Why didn't you answer?" She replied, "I went to bed early, so I didn't hear it." Just then, Yuri appeared. She advised Sa-rang to find someone who truly loved her, someone who cherished and cared for her. Yuri then turned to Gu-won. "You should think carefully about how beneficial marrying me would be," pointing out his disregard for the advantages. He walked away coldly. Meanwhile, D-Lo was struggling with her inattentive husband. It was their wedding anniversary, but he didn't want to go out to dinner with the family. He excused himself, claiming he had a lot of work at the company and suggested celebrating on the weekend. That evening, while returning from the supermarket, D-Lo caught her husband playing golf with his friends. She confronted him, unleashing her fury. There, she discovered he had been unemployed for a year and had been deceiving her, spending his time partying and dancing. D-Lo was at a loss for words with her deceitful husband. During a shareholders' meeting, due to Gu-won's significant contributions to the hotel's growth, Chairman Ha-yun wanted to appoint him as the CEO of King Hotel, alongside his sister. Gu-won objected but couldn't change his father's mind. Later, Gu-won sought out the hotel's longest-serving employee. He came to inquire about his mother. She offered to tell him where his mother was, but he refused. He only wanted to hear the truth, not reunite with her. He seemed to still resent her for abandoning him. Gu-won went to Sa-rang's house, and they shared some precious moments together. Sa-rang asked him, "Aren't you going to see your mother?" Gu-won was only curious about why she left. "If she really loved me, she should have looked for me first." Sa-rang suggested that perhaps his mother had a valid reason. They put the conversation aside, as he wanted to focus on Sa-rang. While they were sharing sweet kisses, someone secretly photographed them. The photographer then contacted the press, wanting them to publish the scandalous news on the front page. The next morning, Chairman Ha-yun received the news that Gu-won was all over the newspapers, the Keeball heir dating a mysterious commoner. He immediately ordered his people to suppress the news at all costs, ensuring its complete eradication. Meanwhile, the hotel staff also learned about the shocking news. Sa-rang was also panicked that their picture was everywhere, but thankfully, the reporter had blurred her face. People wondered if the person in the photo resembled Sa-rang. Sa-rang quickly denied it. "The picture is blurred. How can anyone tell?" Flustered, she quickly excused herself. Meanwhile, Gu-won heard the news and went looking for Sa-rang. She was also looking for him. Gu-won pulled Sa-rang aside and embraced her. He apologized, blaming himself, but she reassured him, "We didn't do anything wrong." As they were embracing, Sang-sik suddenly appeared. He wanted to speak with Gu-won privately. Gu-won instructed Sang-sik to protect Sa-rang's identity at all costs, regardless of what happened to him. Sang-sik suspected that Gu-won's fiancée was behind the leak. She had approached him a few days earlier, wanting him to report everything about Gu-won in exchange for a promotion to head office director. But Sang-sik wasn't easily swayed. He couldn't betray Gu-won, whom he considered a brother. Because he hadn't cooperated, she had hired someone else to follow Gu-won. Gu-won expressed his gratitude to Sang-sik, much to his delight. After all these years working for Gu-won, this was the first time he had received his thanks. Almost forgetting to tease him, Sang-sik added, "If you become CEO, leave this position for me." As usual, Gu-won simply pointed towards the door, and Sang-sik knew what to do. Immediately afterward, HWA Ran instructed her people to continue feeding the story to the media to maintain public interest, this time demanding they reveal the girl's face instead of blurring it. Sa-rang and Gu-won's friends, Da-yul and Pyong Hwa, learned about the situation. Da-yul called the reporters and berated them. "How dare you publish someone's clear photo without their permission? Take it down immediately, or we won't let this go." Pyong Hwa, worried about Sa-rang, advised her to take a break from social media. They both comforted Sa-rang. "You haven't done anything wrong, so there's no need to worry." The next morning, at the hotel, many eyes were on Sa-rang. Manager Kim made provocative and insinuating remarks, implying that Sa-rang had deliberately pursued Gu-won, questioning how she had seduced him. "Hey, share your secrets with me, will you?" Unexpectedly, Gu-won entered the elevator. He announced to everyone, "I was the one who pursued her. If you want tips, come see me privately." Manager Kim profusely apologized for his inappropriate comments. Then, Gu-won took Sa-rang's hand and led her out. "If anyone asks you this again, tell them I was the one who chased you. From the moment we met, you stole my heart." Sa-rang could only manage a forced smile at his cheesy lines. That day, HWA Ran called a shareholders meeting due to the scandal surrounding Gu-won, arguing that it would damage the company's image. Everyone agreed to oppose Gu-won's appointment as hotel CEO. Just then, Chairman Ha-yun entered. He knew his daughter was behind everything, but tarnishing Gu-won's image wouldn't change his mind. Furious, Chairman Ha-yun ordered Gu-won, "Go to the hotel and resign from here." HWA Ran reproached her father. "You've never cared about me, not even once, but even you can't do this." Gu-won then stormed out in anger. That evening, Chairman Ha-yun tried to talk to his son about expanding the hotel chain globally, wanting Gu-won to personally work overseas. Gu-won readily agreed, unaware of the underlying plot to separate him from Sa-rang. The next day, Chairman Ha-yun met with Sa-rang. He wanted her to transfer to another hotel. He didn't say it outright, but she understood he didn't approve of their relationship. Sa-rang complied, having no other choice. Gu-won kept trying to see Sa-rang to tell her about his upcoming business trip, assuring her it would only be for 3 weeks. He'd be back with her soon. Sa-rang, however, hid her impending transfer. She didn't want Gu-won to worry about her. Gu-won took Sa-rang to an amusement park, which he had rented out just for them. They dressed up as students and had a blast, enjoying all the rides and attractions. Sa-rang concealed her sadness, wanting this to be a memorable night for them. The next morning, Gu-won prepared for his departure. Sa-rang did the same, but their moods were completely opposite. Gu-won excitedly boarded the plane and sent her a text message. Meanwhile, Sa-rang was sitting on the bus, replying to that message. Sa-rang had been transferred to a hotel in a remote suburb, a place where employees who made significant mistakes were sent. The conditions weren't very good, but she worked diligently without a single complaint. 3 weeks passed, and today, Gu-won returned to Korea. He immediately called Sa-rang but couldn't reach her. Gu-won rushed to her old workplace but didn't see her familiar figure. After asking around, he learned that Sa-rang had been transferred to a different location. He immediately set off to find her new workplace. Stepping outside, he passed by a woman. She called his name familiarly. Gu-won stopped in surprise. It turned out to be his mother, whom he hadn't seen for many years. Not long before, Gu-won's mother had met with the chairman. She didn't come to reproach her husband for driving her away years ago. She learned that he was trying to push away the woman Gu-won loved. It was no different from her own situation years ago. The reason she left was to protect Gu-won. The chairman's father had used Gu-won to coerce her, so for many years, she lived as if she didn't exist. The chairman felt very remorseful about this, but it was the only choice he had to protect the company, unlike her. She came to say, "Don't push Gu-won into a corner, and I won't stand idly by anymore. I couldn't control my own life, so let him live as he wants. That's what parents should do." Hearing this, Chairman Hai-un began to change his mind and no longer forbade Gu-won's relationship. In the moment he heard his mother call his name, Gu-won's heart was filled with a multitude of emotions. He had been waiting for the moment his mother would come looking for him for so long. Memories of their past flooded back into his mind. She came to apologize to Gu-won for abandoning him so abruptly, but it was her only choice to protect her beloved son. She was happy to see him grow into an independent adult without needing anyone's protection. But Gu-won maintained his stoic expression. He advised her to live for herself from now on and not try to protect anyone. There, Gu-won said that he had never hated her. He still remembered how she loved him, even if those were just a few memories. Gu-won always told himself that there must have been a reason for her departure, so he always used that as motivation to persevere until now. With a cold expression, Gu-won excused himself and left. Outside, his true emotions finally surfaced. He desperately wanted to run to her and embrace her, but he wanted to hide his vulnerability from her. Gu-won burst into tears and collapsed right then and there. After regaining his composure, he returned to see his mother. He stepped forward and embraced her, a hug he hadn't felt in years, a familiar place where he could feel safe and secure. At this point, she understood that her son had forgiven her. She was deeply moved and felt happier than ever. Meanwhile, Sa-rang continued to work diligently as usual. Her manager revealed that the hotel was about to close down due to its poor performance. She was worried. If that happened, she didn't know how she would survive. Sa-rang also felt regretful because the staff there were like family to each other. Her manager asked about her and Gu-won. "I saw in the news that you two broke up." Sa-rang smiled and said that everything was fine. He must be busy, so he hasn't come here yet. Sa-rang stood on the rooftop, looking at the pinwheels. She remembered the moments they shared together. She truly missed Gu-won. She wondered what he was doing now. Not long after, Gu-won arrived alone, his eyes falling on Sa-rang's figure. His emotions welled up, his eyes brimming with tears. He slowly approached her, both of them sharing the same thoughts and feelings in this situation. Gu-won apologized, saying that he might have arrived a little late. He came to take Sa-rang back. She said that she was an employee there now, so she probably couldn't leave. But Gu-won insisted, "You're still mine." Sa-rang smiled without replying. Then she let him inside because there was still much work to be done. Sa-rang wanted Gu-won to iron all the tablecloths in exchange for her recharging his energy. Hearing this, Gu-won immediately threw himself into the work. From a major company executive, he became a hotel waiter. Just then, the manager walked in, not yet recognizing Gu-won. She ordered him around, and he diligently obeyed. A moment later, it dawned on her. "I think I've seen this guy somewhere before, haven't I?" She became flustered when she realized this was the director, Gu, who had appeared in the news with Sa-rang. Her attitude changed dramatically as she bowed and apologized profusely. That evening, Gu-won told Sa-rang about his reunion with his mother. She had sought him out and seemed like a good person. Sa-rang imagined the situation for Gu-won, as she also didn't think his mother was a bad person. Gu-won had thought he had forgotten all his memories of her and didn't need to remember. But upon seeing her again, he realized he had never forgotten. Sa-rang then confessed that she really enjoyed working there. Everything reminded her of when she first started working at the King Hotel. Behind the hotel was a beautiful and mystical garden. Just looking at it gave her a sense of healing. She added that it seemed the garden was about to be sold. So, she wanted to stay and work hard to maintain it. That morning, Pyong-hwa was again pursued by the pilot. He taunted her about her divorce. Hearing this, Pyong-hwa refused to endure it any longer. She angrily kicked him in the groin. He collapsed in pain on the spot. Pyong-hwa also warned, "Don't ever bother me again, or you'll regret it." Beside her, the young man named Yu-nam felt a sense of satisfaction. He also confessed his feelings for Pyong-hwa. The pilot, knowing this, should be careful with what he said, or there would be consequences. Immediately after, despite being grounded, Yu-nam took Pyong-hwa to see the ocean. There, she wondered why he had never asked about her past. He replied that he didn't need to know because, "I like the person you are now." Yunam sincerely wanted to protect and heal Pyong-hwa's past wounds. She responded with a sweet kiss, accepting the affection of the younger man. Meanwhile, Sa-rang took Gu-won to explore everything around the hotel. They dined together, enjoyed the scenery, and met the friendly people there. He sensed that Sa-rang truly cherished this new place. That evening, Gu-won called a meeting to discuss the hotel's future. He reprimanded the branch manager because while the business was struggling, he was relaxing and fishing, not setting a good example for the staff. The branch manager said, "The hotel is going to be sold anyway. This land will become the city's cultural center. I was discussing business while fishing, not just playing around." Gu-won looked at him with disdain, his voice dripping with contempt. "Instead of doing useless things, you should be finding solutions to the problems, not just for the hotel, but for all the employees here." He replied, "Gu-won, you have no right to interfere in this matter. The hotel is owned by your half-sister. She ordered it to be sold, and I'm trying to achieve that goal." Hearing this, Gu-won expressed his desire to buy the hotel. Everyone around was stunned. Just as Sa-rang had said, he felt there was something special about this place. So, he wanted to transform it into a nature-integrated tourist destination, a place where people could escape the bustling city life and relax. Gu-won shook hands with the branch manager, finalizing the purchase, and then promptly fired him. Everyone rejoiced at this, and the happiest of all was Sa-rang. With the difficulties resolved by Gu-won, Sa-rang agreed to return to the city with him. The next morning, their friends arrived to visit Sa-rang and Gu-won. They hadn't given any notice, hoping to surprise the couple. There, despite publicly announcing his relationship with Pyong-hwa, the two walked in arm, surprising both Dusit and Dok. Dok congratulated the happy couple, but Dusit did not. He felt a pang of self-pity, being over 40 literally 40 pots of cooked rice, and still single literally unable to find salt. Everyone went inside to find Sa-rang, only to be shocked to discover she had already returned to the city with Gu-won. Dok angrily dragged Dusit outside to demand an explanation. It was Dusit who had come up with the idea of surprising them without telling Sa-rang. She warned Dusit not to utter another word. From now on, she, as the eldest of the 6 siblings, would be in charge. Meanwhile, Chairman Hai-un entered and encountered Sa-rang. He understood he couldn't stop his son. Later, wanting to talk to Gu-won, he handed over full authority of the hotel chain to him. He didn't mention Sa-rang at all. This intrigued Gu-won. From now on, his father wouldn't interfere in their relationship, as he had made the same mistake in the past with Gu-won's mother. He wanted Gu-won to decide his own life, bearing the responsibility for both successes and failures. Immediately afterward, he met with his half-sister, Hwa-ran. She declared that things weren't over, they were just beginning. She wouldn't let her brother take anything from her. Gu-won replied that he never intended to steal anything from her. Gu-won truly didn't want to confront his sister, as he still considered them family. Hwa-ran scoffed at the word family. She had never considered them as such, not even once in her life. That evening, Sa-rang unexpectedly went to her grandmother's house to stay the night. Her grandmother sensed something was troubling her. She tried to ask, but Sa-rang didn't want to talk about it. She said she just missed her grandmother and wanted to be with her. But that lie couldn't fool her grandmother, who had cared for her since she was a baby. Elsewhere, Hugo was shopping for a ring for Sa-rang. He was planning to propose. He instructed the saleswoman to choose the most special ring they had. "My girlfriend has a beautiful smile, so I want to find a ring that's worthy of her smile." The saleswoman presented a ring with a huge diamond. It symbolized unchanging and eternal love. That night, dressed impeccably, he sprayed himself with the familiar cologne Sa-rang liked. He was both excited and nervous about this special day, the most important day of his life. Gu-won took Sa-rang to a restaurant where they were the only diners, the same place where they had their first dinner together on her birthday. Of course, Sa-rang remembered that moment, the moment he had come to heal her emotional wounds. They chatted happily. Sa-rang was still unaware that Gu-won was going to propose that night. He messaged his team waiting outside to prepare the proposal. They would control drones to create a surprise for Sa-rang. Outside, the drones had started up and taken off. But inside, both of them were silent. In this setting, the drones formed a heart shape, just as Gu-won had envisioned. But it seemed that heart was only half complete. It turned out that the reason Sa-rang wanted to leave, or rather wanted to stop, was referring to her current job at the hotel. She wanted to resign, believing it was no longer a good fit for her. Working in hospitality seemed glamorous, but it wasn't her dream. Hearing this, Gu-won breathed a sigh of relief, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders, and his face brightened. Sa-rang wanted to leave to write her own story. She wanted to open a small hotel that she could manage herself. Gu-won immediately called the outside support team to quickly withdraw. He wanted to postpone his proposal to Sa-rang for another time. Sa-rang was a bit curious about the phone call, but he didn't want to reveal anything. Gu-won happily congratulated her on finding a job she truly enjoyed. He also advised her that if she encountered any obstacles or difficulties, she shouldn't hesitate to call him. He would come to her immediately, anytime. Afterward, Sa-rang asked about what Gu-won wanted to tell her earlier. He had said that no matter where she was or what she did, he would always be on her side. Sa-rang was truly touched by Gu-won's words. She felt the same way. No matter what, she would always be by his side. The next morning, Sa-rang met with Chairman Hwa Ran to resign. When he asked for the reason, she said it was so she could continue dating Gu-won. During the time they were apart, she realized she couldn't live without him. She might not have his approval, but she promised she wouldn't disappoint him by loving Gu-won. Chairman Hwa Ran just laughed. Her directness was something he always appreciated. He also apologized for sometimes acting immaturely and not separating his personal feelings from professional matters. Afterward, Sa-rang said goodbye to her colleagues. After all, they were the people who had helped her learn so many things, especially the head housekeeper, who had always helped Sa-rang from the first days she moved there. Sa-rang packed up her belongings, keeping her name tag and, especially, her 2 consecutive years of Employee of the Year badges. These were memories she would never forget. Outside, Sa-rang looked back at the hotel, the place that held so many joys and sorrows, and especially the place where she met the person she loved. While waiting for the bus, a limousine stopped in front of Sa-rang. Gu-won stepped out with a bouquet of flowers. This truly surprised her. He had come to wish Sa-rang a new beginning. Along with that, he gave her a pair of shoes, signifying that they would help her go to the best places. Gu-won personally put them on for her and then drove her home in the luxury car. Meanwhile, after being exposed by Da-yul, Seon-woo was now as obedient as a puppy, constantly doing all the housework for his wife. And Da-yul took on the role of the husband she used to have. Sa-rang would go and enjoy her own life, something she hadn't been able to do for a long time. After Gu-won was appointed as the hotel's general manager, he promoted his best friend to the position of head of strategic planning. This made Ro-un extremely happy. He spun around like a child. In addition, Gu-won also gave him a Swiss-made watch. Ro-un accepted it and left with a proud look. Sa-rang was still diligently searching for suitable properties to open her hotel. She looked at many, but none were satisfactory. Some had rents that were too expensive, which she couldn't afford. Others fit her budget but didn't suit her vision. Finally, after viewing an old house by the sea, Sa-rang happily informed Gu-won that this was what she had been looking for. The lease was signed. She rejoiced that her dream was about to come true. Close friends threw a party to celebrate Sa-rang, as she was about to become a boss, the owner and sole employee of a hotel with only 1 room for rent. Hearing about Sa-rang's plans, her grandmother took out her savings books, saying it was payment for all the help her granddaughter had given her over the years. The amount, totaling hundreds of millions of won, startled Sa-rang. On top of that, the ginseng root Sa-rang had gifted her had also been sold and added to the savings. Her grandmother insisted Sa-rang accept everything, knowing that opening a hotel required a lot of money for renovations and furnishings. Sa-rang could only hug her beloved grandmother and thank her through tears. Meanwhile, Gu-won and his sister Hwa Ran had reconciled. He had never wanted to be at odds with his sister. As for Sa-rang, she thought of her young son and began to change her perspective. Money and status weren't truly the most important things. What she needed now was love and the warmth of family. Over the past few days, Sa-rang personally designed, renovated, and decorated the hotel. Finally, everything was completed and ready for business. She named the hotel Hotel Ammo, where love begins. She took pictures, posted them on social media for advertising, and imagined the day guests would flock to rent the room. Sa Rang thought of Gu-won and sent him a message, but waited without a reply. She fell asleep without realizing it. A few hours later, she woke up to a strange noise outside. Grabbing a baseball bat for protection, she slowly opened the door to investigate. She was surprised to see it was Gu-won and immediately ran to hug him. While she was sleeping, Gu-won had created a flower garden in front of the hotel. He wanted to surprise the woman he loved. Sa Rang was delighted with everything Gu-won had done. But what she most looked forward to was seeing him right now. Sa Rang explained the hotel's name, where love begins, inspired by the guest house she and Gu-won stayed at on Jeju Island. Back then, they truly disliked each other, but it was the day they became closer than ever before. That was where their love began, and this hotel was where their long journey would conclude. As it was late, Sa Rang urged Gu-won to leave, but he wanted to stay near her a little longer. Right then, Sa Rang gave him the green light, asking if he wanted to stay the night. Just hearing that, Gu-won rushed to give her sweet kisses. They slowly moved inside and closed the door. What happened next is unknown. The next morning, they woke up still entwined, enjoying the wonderful moment. Elsewhere, June drove Pyong Hwa to meet his mother. She felt a little embarrassed, as she hadn't prepared anything, her hair, clothes, or gifts. June assured her that she didn't need to dress up. She was always beautiful to him. Pyong Hwa was sweet as she stood before his mother's grave. It turned out his mother had passed away years ago. He proudly told his mother about his girlfriend, saying she was not only beautiful but also had a beautiful heart. Pyong Hwa held his hand, promising in front of his mother's grave that they would always be happy together. Lately, the hotel had been busy, so Sa Rang wanted to hire an additional employee to help. But no one was suitable. Some didn't want to work weekends because of dates, and others didn't want to constantly smile, as Sa Rang required. Only Gu-won was the candidate she found most suitable. After a rigorous interview, he was hired. Gu-won also had another task in mind. He took out a ring and knelt down, proposing to Sa Rang something he hadn't been able to do before. Sa Rang smiled and nodded in agreement. How could she refuse someone like Gu-won? He personally put the ring on her finger, a moment he had long awaited. That day, they celebrated Sa Rang's grandmother's birthday. After singing and wishing her well, they had another important announcement. They held hands and knelt before her. Gu-won said, "We're getting married. We'll love each other and live happily ever after." Hearing this, her grandmother was deeply moved and burst into tears. It was what she had hoped for most, someone she could trust to care for her beloved granddaughter. Not long after, their wedding took place. Gu-won's mother was also present. She and Hwa Ran had put aside their past resentments. Gu-won was also cordial when he saw his stepmother again. Their close group of friends were all there, eagerly awaiting the two most beautiful people of the day. Meanwhile, Chairman Hwa Ran sent his son his best wishes. He understood that a parent's duty was to let their children live their own life.